man, the wiles of the devil and things of that nature. Romans 8:7, because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. Right, and that's why a lot of these people can't comprehend what we're speaking about, man. It's because their mind is carnal, man. They're carnally minded. You know, they're more in tune into the world and the flesh. You know, family things of that nature, jobs. So they ain't ever gonna be able to gravitate to this, to accept it, man. And that therefore they're not gonna experience peace. You know. This is Romans 8:8. So then they that are of the flesh cannot please the Most High. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of Yahweh dwelleth in you. Right, so there you go again. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai's spirit has to be dwelling in you, supping with you, in order for you to have these different characteristics, such as courage, not the spirit of fear, standing in great boldness, you know, learning, increasing in knowledge, going onto the highways and the byways, making your videos, you know, more than two, you know, but two is the minimum, you know, but doing the work, man, you know, loving thy power with all thy soul, might, and strength. You see what I'm saying? It says, Romans 8:9, but ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit, if so be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, he is none of his. Right, so there's a rude awakening coming to America, is that a lot of these people are going to find out that the Lord was never dealing with them, man. That the Lord was never really dealing with them, and that they were just putting up a facade, thinking that because they went to this certain church, or because they're so-called, you know, Christian, you know, because there's people out there that don't go to churches, they're Christians, but they're going to find out the Lord was never with them, man. Why? Because they were carnal. You know, they were more into tangible things. They weren't into spiritual things. And not everybody's spiritual. Only these people on the side, the Negro Latinos and Native American Indians, are spiritual people, man. Because that's who the word was given to, was to us. All right? This book is a spiritual book. There's hard sayings in this book. Dark, arcane proverbs, man. It's just like when the Lord was on the earth, there wasn't many people that followed after him. Why? Because they didn't understand the word, the certain things he was speaking about, man. When he was talking about that he was as the bread of life, they thought he was talking about being cannibals and shit like that. But really he was talking about that the word that were coming out of his mouth, that was that manna, man. That was that bread. That was the spirit, man, that people needed to take. Like it says in right here, real quick. Talk about right here, Matthew. Real quick, Salakia, give me 1 second. Right here, Matthew chapter 4, verse 4. It says, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of my mouth, out of the mouth of the Most High. So that's what Yahweh Shai was talking about, man. All right, that's what he was talking about. But when they heard that hard saying, what did they do? They left from following after the Lord. And that's what's going on today. Because everybody has this misconception, or this conception that Jesus loves everybody and that anybody can come to Jesus whenever they want and things of that nature. But no, man, you can't. The Lord's no genie in the bottle, man. You don't control the Lord. The Lord controls you. He controls all the spirits, man. Principalities. He's even controlling all these Edomites, what they're doing in office right now with Donald Trump. What he's doing with the international bankers, everything's going according to plan because it was prophesied in the scriptures before time. There's no new thing underneath the sun. It's happened during the Roman Empire with Caesar Augustus. You know, all the different major heads of the eagle, which is America's. This is another spiritual place, is Rome, Sodom, and Egypt, because they allow homosexuality here in America. Egypt, because they had the obelisk over there, what they call it, the Washington Monument. That's an obelisk. They come from Egypt, man. A replica. You know, they got the dollar bill. They got the all-seeing eye, the pyramid. All right. There's so many different indicators on showing you that in the Bible speaks about this place called America, man. Okay, but that's what it is to be spiritually minded versus carnal. To be carnally minded, people don't see them things. You know? I remember going back way before I fell into the truth, man. I was already knowing not to be going out here voting for these presidents, man. And the scriptures bear witness that we're not even supposed to be voting. You know? And the law, it tells us not to vote. Matter of fact, I'll prove it out. I'll bring it out to prove it. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of scoffers out here. You know? It says, Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 14. I'll start at verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall, or Salaki, let me start at verse 14. When thou art come unto the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like all the nations that are about me, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Right. And Donald Trump, Obama, Clinton, Bush, those are not our brothers, man. They are Edomite, Hebrew Edomites. They are a wicked brother, but they're not the brother of Yasha'Allah, man. All right. You got Obama. He ain't no Negro. He's a Hamite, man. He's an African because he's a Muslim, man. You see. But that's the difference between being spiritual and carnal minded. Is that these people out here, the majority of the people, they don't see what a spiritual man sees, and we see through the scriptures, man, through the Spirit of the Lord, man. That's what gives us that insight. Like I was reading back over here in Wisdom of Solomon, man. And Wisdom of Solomon was the wisest man on the earth that ever lived, next to or besides Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ on the earth, man. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 8. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjectureth aright what is to come. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs, wonders, and the events of seasons and times. And that's why us brothers to you, Akim, it's important to go onto the highways and the hedges, man, to proclaim this truth upon housetops. You know, that way your blood, these people's blood won't be on your hands, man. If you got this knowledge, you're supposed to be shedding this light, man. All right? Because we're coming into some horrific times, man. So some amazing, some astonishment, some great astonishing times, man, if that's a word. All right? But that's what's going on, man.
What's going on,
you know,
man?
The race riots are stirring up. You got Esau, the so-called white man. His spirit's stirring up. You know, you got the Negro, Latino, Native American Indians. Our spirit is stirring up as well, man. There's no coincidence, man. The Bible already spoke about race riots occurring. Okay? The Lord already told us about the time of Jacob's trouble. That we're going to be put to death on the streets of America. That we're going to be led into captivity here in the streets of America. Okay? So there's no coincidence, man. Everything's going according to plan, man. Okay? But that's the difference between a spiritual man and a carnal man. Okay? Is that the Spirit of the Lord is working with the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the 144,000, the elect men that are building up the house of David. Okay? Going back to the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. This is all happening all over again, man. There ain't no new thing underneath the sun. Okay? Babylon, the Great, as known as America, is going to be destroyed, man. Why? Because they polluted the land with blood. And there's no getting around it, man. If a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian goes off here in America, what happens? They get sent away for fucking, 20, 30 years for doing some minor crime, man. It's ridiculous. So how much more you, man? You're going to be judged, man. You Edomites, man. You so-called Caucasians, man. The Lord has not forgot what you've done, man. The Lord is a righteous judge, man. So you can't hate me. If you hate me, you hate the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just plain and clear. I've become your enemy, therefore, because I tell you the truth. You know? That's just the truth, man. And let me go ahead and bring that one in Daniel, or the book of Numbers. Right? Here a little, there a little. Precept upon precept. Okay? It's not just about the Old Testament. The Old Testament, hey, the Old Testament gets in too, man. You know, there's people that they want to ignore them hard parts. This is Numbers 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. That's plain and cut and dry, man. You can't escape it, Esau, man. You see? And first and foremost, what's going to happen is spiritually, it's going to be verbally proclaimed to you, to you Negro Latinos and Native American Indians, you 2/3, because you're going off too. Then it's going to manifest itself physically, man. When they declare martial law, they implement that RFID chip, race riots begin. That's all through prophecy, man. It's not no thing that's just coming out. You know what I'm saying? This is real life things that are going to happen. That have always happened, man. Through every great nation. You know? Killings and mobs coming up. I mean, it's happened everywhere, man. It's happened here in America, like in California in the 60s. You know? Between the Negroes and the so-called Mexicans in the 1940s when the Zoot Riders, the Zoot Suit riots occurred. All right, it wasn't just a so-called Latino Mexican that was catching hell. Even Jake, the tribe of Judah, man, the Negroes were getting jacked up during that time in the 1940s, man. You know, and it's gonna happen all over again. There ain't no new thing underneath the sun, man. You know. But yeah, man, you know that's the difference between a spiritual man and a carnal man, you know. It says it says that the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. So Esau's blood has to be shed, man. You know, that's why Isaiah 14 says, "Prepare slaughter for his children." You know, hey man, that's just what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it with that, brothers. You know, I hope it was edifying. You know, I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Much love and respect to you brothers out there doing the work of sincerity and truth. Keep fighting, keep pushing. You know, till next time, I want to say shalom.